No man has the right to be an amateur in the matter of physical training. It is a disgrace to grow old through sheer carelessness before seeing what manner of man you may become by developing your own bodily strength and beauty to their highest limits. Socrates. Hello gentlemen, welcome to another video. Hope you're all doing tremendously well. And let's just get straight to it then, shall we? In today's topic we're going to talk about the importance of physical training, how physical training can help build mental fortitude, and why every man must participate in some form of physical training in their lives in order to consistently serve their purpose well. The human body was conceived mainly for survival. Its purpose was to help us survive, whether it involves facing life-threatening circumstances, or even circumstances that are ever so slightly detrimental to our own well-being. It is in its nature to help us survive, and we can't change anything about that. Unfortunately, many people still disregard their own body as some form of disposable suit of armor, or just a host for them to exploit, and not treating it like the prize that it is. They either discreetly and ignorantly destroy them over time, or they just leave them to rot and completely waste the profound potential that it can provide for them. What you need to take note of and understand, gentlemen, is that your body is the greatest, most effective, and most efficient adaptive machine in this world. Those circumstances that you throw at it, it always has the capability and the capacity to adapt, withstand, tolerate, and overcome. Every stimulus that your body is physically exposed to, it will naturally and innately find possible and plausible ways to help you cope and control them to a great extent. Such as where once you might find cold weather to be a major issue, if you keep exposing your body to it, your body will internally reconfigure itself to eventually help you be at ease with that condition. It's what is widely defined as the fight or flight mode, where our body naturally perceives circumstances as harmful, detrimental, life-threatening, and will innately react whether to face the challenge or threat, or to flee and go into full survival mode according to the situation that it perceives. But of course, when we're talking about physical training, the situation that it presents is way different than having a gun directly pointed and shoved at you. But in any case, it is the same analogy. Our body wants to find the best way to help us survive, whether it is about lifting heavy weights or avoiding an outnumbered and outgunned street fight. A simple example can be people who can't take spicy foods, and whose tongue would just go on fire and start to sweat profusely, versus people who can eat chilies like a midday snack. How do you think those people build their tolerance to those spicy foods? They certainly didn't start off enjoying it at first hand. They simply build their immense tolerance by exposing their physical sense of taste to the stimulus for a very, very long time. And their body constantly make adjustments to eventually help them tolerate and overcome those immense burning taste. Exactly the same principle applies to physical training. Whether you're lifting weights, doing boxing, wrestling, or any form of martial arts, your body is slowly but surely making adaptations to suit itself around and within those situations, and eventually make you comfortable. Remember, gentlemen, it always has the capacity and the capability to do so. The more you expose yourself to weightlifting, your muscles will get bigger, your fat levels will drop, and your bones will get denser to help you survive within that situation. The more you expose yourself to martial arts, your reflexes sharpened, your stance is stabilized, pinned to the ground, and your muscular endurance increases. Similarly, the more you expose yourself to other sports of your choice, you'll jump higher, run faster, swim swifter, and hold your breath longer. Your body is capable of amazing feats, gentlemen. And yes, some of you might say, but some people have naturally great genetics that serve them well in physical training, don't they? And I agree with that. However, isn't that just a silly and pitiful excuse not to build your own body to great potential for it to serve you well in your life? Your body wants to serve you, gentlemen. It wants to protect you. And to do that, you must expose them to the situations and circumstances that allow them to grow and fine-tune itself to serve you better. I myself am not a genetic freak. Far from it, in fact. I'm only 5'8" with hands the size of teenagers still strolling on the puberty sidewalk. And I managed to do pull-ups with 70 pounds strapped to my waist. Your body will only grow and serve you well if you put them to the test, keep testing its limits, and give them what it needs to achieve growth. Speaking of giving the body what it needs, let's talk about the things that could inevitably destroy your body rather than allowing it to grow. And yes, I'm talking about all the things that are, in this day and age, have become a huge part of the cultural norms. You gentlemen know what they are. Excessive drinking, excessive smoking, drug usage, processed foods, sugar, and the one that almost everybody suffers from today, the lack of sleep. Now you might think, but you said that our body can adapt to anything. Sure it can. The more you drink alcohol, your body develops tolerance to alcohol. The more you smoke, your body develops tolerance to nicotine. But do those endeavors profoundly give what the body needs to grow? Which is proper and healthy nutrition? Apparently they don't. Not to mention that all of those endeavors will eventually lead to addiction, because you don't seek tolerance from them, but rather the susceptibleness of the harmful but exciting contents that they provide. And the more tolerance you build, the more susceptibility that you want from them, which will only lead you to consuming more of them. Feed your body with nutrient-dense, organic, natural, and healthy foods that contain all the essential macro and micronutrients. Always keep them hydrated, and always allow them to recover with a deep, good night's sleep. I might sound like all those fitness gurus that you gentlemen have heard everywhere, but there's no other more unique way of saying it. It is simply the truth. Your body is the engine, and the things that it requires in order to perform are its fuel sources. And just like a vehicle, if you feed the gleaming engine contaminated fuel, used lubricants, and dirty water, how are you going to expect it to perform as well as it should? Good physical training routines to make your body grow to a greater potential, and good fuel sources for your body does not only affect you physically, it affects you mentally as well. Your mood, demeanor, and energy will tremendously influence how your mind operates cognitively. There's an old saying of, you are what you do and you are what you eat. And that can never be more truthful to me personally. And that is why I am preaching this to you gentlemen. A healthy body will always translate to a healthy mind. And speaking about mentality, let's discuss on how physical training can help you gentlemen build a strong and dependable mental fortitude. You see gentlemen, the byproduct that comes from what you decide to go through physically translates tremendously well to what you will go through mentally. Because the narrative of facing and overcoming both challenges and adversities are always the same for everyone and for everything. Physical training is the first and simplest form or level of facing adversities. You can almost call it as one of the main analogies to be used in facing adversities nowadays. Lifting heavy weights is not an easy task. Getting physically strong is not an easy task. In fact, what is it that is truly worth the accomplishing and rewarding that ever comes easy? At first you want to use those weights that you are lifting, and it is a grueling and gradual process to allow your body to morph into its desired state to get you comfortable with those weights. And then when you are comfortable, you progress into heavier weights and bigger adversities to face. I'm telling you gentlemen, it is genuinely addicting to suffer first and then to reap the rewards after. It is an amazing sensation. Physical training teaches you the genesis of discipline, consistency, commitment, persistence, and sacrifice. And the rewards that you reap off of them will lead you to trusting those principles to be strongly planted or embedded within your mentality, which then can be effectively applied to other meaningful and purposeful activities and endeavors of your life, such as your businesses, your educations, your ongoing projects, and even your relationships. Now, there's an old saying of, where the mind goes, the body follows, and that sort of baffled me a bit. Not disagreeing with it, just questioning its completion. You see, gentlemen, it is without a doubt true that your mind fills in the gaps that your body finds otherwise insufficient. But what if your body is no longer sufficient? In fact, it is completely ineffective. Would your mind still be able to lead your body? I don't necessarily think so. That is why I decided to complete the quote myself. Now, you gentlemen can agree or disagree with me on this, but here's the quote. Where the mind goes, the body follows. How the body is, the mind accepts. You see, gentlemen, the state of your body is important to your state of mind as well. If you are severely injured, no matter how much your mind wants to keep going, your body is physically ineffective to do so. The same thing goes when you are severely overweight and having very little muscle mass in your body's composition. No matter how much your mind wants to lift 100 kilograms of weight off the floor, your body are just simply unable to physically perform that feat. Now, the word accepting doesn't mean conceding, gentlemen. It is just to take reality into account and realize that your body and mind are both interconnected, and they both serve each other in perfect harmony. One cannot be healthy, or effective, or efficient if the other one is not. And a great byproduct of physical training is obviously women attraction. There's no surprise there really. A strong physical presence and capabilities display the competence to defend and protect, the commitment to self-respect, and the leadership through actions and example, which are some of the key qualities of a high-value man. And again, some of you gentlemen are probably going to say, well, women don't care about looks at all, you know. Yes, they do, gentlemen. Yes, they do. You can always judge a book by its cover. No matter what people say, you can. And people's first impression of you is always based on the appeal of your cover. Whatever is beneath that cover is to be discussed much later. But in the end, physical training should be done primarily for your own health and well-being. You should always be your own mental point of focus in your life. And by committing yourself to consistently do physical training, it just simply showcases a great level of self-respect, integrity, and dignity for your own character. And yes, I know some of you gentlemen still might say, oh, but I don't have time to work out, I've got work to do and stuff. Cut it out, gentlemen. You always have time. It's all a matter of priorities. And are the priorities that you are doing currently besides work deliver positive effects or results in your life? Or do they don't have any positive impacts, but just feels good and easy, and that is why you are doing them? Scrolling through your phone and lying down in bed for hours doing nothing is not an actual priority that could be called plausible, gentlemen. You all know that. Make the choice and the sacrifice and commit to improving your own body that has kept you alive for so long, and will continue to keep you alive for as long as possible. And trust me on this, gentlemen, In the end, you will only be thanking yourself for making that decision. And as always, thank you for watching.